these wealthy or rich families that were together, not us, fractured family. No dad, but nobody protecting me. My mom's at work, there's no protection. I remember one time they came into my house to beat me up. I mean, really. So fourth grade, Mrs. Stout's class, one day I told a story. I hope this isn't a repeat, but anyway, I know it's going to lead to something that is not a repeat. But anyway, she said, and I made people laugh. It was magical. I couldn't believe it. I was telling a story about my mom beating me actually for breaking this glass thing and everything. I said, and then I started exaggerating. Oh yeah, she beat me so much. I was a pinata. There was candy flying out of my mouth. Ah, they're all laughing at people that hated me. Oh, suddenly there was this fanciful, like this unbelievable thing was happening where they were with me, connected with me. This whole beautiful air that we were now in, resentment free, just so powerful. Laughter is so powerful. It's when I really got it that day. It all went to a whole other direction. Oh my God, this is magical, incredible. I could still tell you the faces, how they just changed towards me from telling the truth, telling a story of violence. It was like a forbidden story. That's what a lot of comedians do. And the next day she says, he's not going to do this in my class again. And she tied my hands behind my back with blue yarn, hogtied behind my back like a hostage. She put me in a supply closet. She goes, you sit on that box and do not get off that box all day. And I did. I'm defiant. I kept looking at her thighs coming through the vent. I jumped back on. You better be there. She let me eat. And that was it. Then back to the hands, my wrists bound behind my back. She says, he's not going to do this. The opposite happened. It was my first voice of big G, God, source, light, energy, whatever. It was a voice, just dominant. Yes, you are going to do this. You will never stop doing this. You keep telling truth, telling stories, making people laugh, inspiring people, whatever it is. Obviously, a little kid's not talking like that, but this voice inside of me says, no, keep going. And I did. I was the class clown, and I got tortured for it by teachers. I mean, literally tortured with holding books out and being beaten by teachers too. Nothing stopped me, to the point where I made a career out of it since high school, literally put myself through college and then some. It's led to everything. It's just been the most unbelievable life. And behind me, if you are watching, there's posters of specials I've done, and there's me with Dave Chappelle at his house and all this. I mean, I've just had the most dream life from this laughter, bringing laughter to people. It's pretty incredible. And it's led to money too. Money that now wives steal. So it's crazy. I wonder what the karma is. And I do know some of the karma is I did some really bad things when I was younger. I was a drunk and a drug addict, and I would just destroy people's property, rich people and stuff like that. I understand some of these karmic equations, some of the karmic equation of not being good to women, other women from my past. Some I'm really tight with. There's two exes that are just unbelievable friends to this day. I mean, decades later, like really, really close friends. One of them's Aunt Jeannie to my kids. Another one's Aunt Mary Fran. I mean, these are people that I almost married or whatever, or dated. And that went really well and still goes really well. See me for who I am, broke up for other reasons, whatever it is, just incredible. These relationships I have from childhood, television show with my friend from third grade. It's on Amazon, Wolfpack, by the way, with C, no K. Just it's unbelievable things have happened. Specials on television and movies and guest star roles. And I used to watch television. I wanted to be Hollywood Squares, and I wanted Paul Lynde to marry my mother, and the Center Square, Uncle Arthur and Bewitched. I wanted, and then I ended up on Hollywood Squares, 75 episodes, although nobody knows who I am. So I was always Craig Shoemaker to block. My vision was that Paul Lynde would adopt me, marry my mother. We'd be the first father and son team on a Hollywood Squares. I'd like Craig and Paul Lynde for the win, please. Take it, son. It's a sports question. But there I was in Hollywood for 75 episodes. even if it was only to block. All of these things happen because of laughter. All of these things happen because I kept finding where the laughter was, where the positive was. My kids, when they speak to me, the two older ones don't talk to me much, or at all. It's painful again. But the one, when we are getting along, we laugh together. He calls me opto for optimistic. I'm an optimistic guy. I encourage you to all be optimistic. I don't accept doctors' opinions most of the time, and I'm not sick. I don't get sick because I believe in these powers, these healing powers of laughter that exist in all of us. So I kept embarked on this career that's made probably a trillion laughs. I don't know. I've been in 75,000 people twice. I performed for Broadway. Ended up singing with Kenny Loggins on Broadway. After I was opening for him, one of the guys got sick. I replaced the singer. Just unbelievable life. All from comedy, all from laughter. There's a difference, by the way, between comedy and laughter. Big difference. But anyway, laughter is just so important. I'm still, what's funny is the one guy that tortured me, my sixth grade teacher, he came to my show a few weeks ago outside of Philadelphia in Sellersville, this old theater. And I had this moment on stage. It was just unbelievable. It's just like, whoa, this is true bliss. Like nirvana. The voices in my head about Lotus and all this is going on and still attacking me and still doing this stuff and taking money and all that lying and lie, cheat, steal. None of it was going on. It was just in this pocket of absolute, there was no agenda, no fear, no desire, no results. I just was in this beautiful space, pure space, 2-hour-long show, standing ovation, connected. And one of the people in the audience was my sixth grade teacher who made me do dictionary pages, Mr. Lennon. And he made me do this thing where I held my books out, and he'd pile more books on top. Him and Mr. Treichel did it. Fifth grade, he did it. Sixth grade, Mrs. Stout did the thing with it. Every year I got tortured because I was a devilish kid. But it all ended up to be this beautiful career. I'm not at the top anymore. It's okay. This certainly won't lead to any success either. But I do everything for a different reason now. And here's the final conclusion to tell you one of the reasons I do it. I was speaking at a church about laughter heals. I do a lot of speaking now about the alchemy of laughter and the power of it. And there's this church nearby. My friend was running this Christian men's group. He says, why don't you come speak? Worst introduction ever, by the way. He says, what's the word? Not saved. He goes, my guest today has not been saved, or whatever the word for it is. And I was like, well, there's a great introduction. These people, like here's the heathen. I got them to turn around, laughing, and I had to understand that it really is truly a great spirit that exists inside of us. That's very spiritual. I'm trying to build a bridge from the woo-woo to the ha-ha. Comedians are cynical. Woo-woo people are too woo-woo. Let's meet in the middle. Have a lot of fun, even though you're on this beautiful, enlightened path. That's the way to get there. Light it up with laughter. So I meet the minister. He comes up to me. I always wanted to meet you. And then he introduces me backstage to his daughter. She said, is it really Craig Shoemaker? He says, this is really Craig Shoemaker. I was, well, I have a number of fans through the years. It's awesome. It's pretty cool. But this was like upper level. Then he goes up and he speaks. And I'm going to paraphrase the speech, but he said basically he's up like an hour later after we all hung out in the back and they prayed for me. I was going through the pain this a couple of years ago with my, the whole disarray and everything with this whole divorce and just this bomb that went off. Oh my God. And they prayed for me. I just felt fantastic. Then he speaks, a wonderful speaker, incredible. 30 years ago, he's studying to be a pastor. He's got this best friend who's a wife and 3 kids. He kind of wants what he has, and he's teaching him how to be a Christian. He's got a fiance. She gets pregnant. He says, I'm going to introduce you to my parents. Goes to the parents' house. They said, get out of this house. We disown you unless you abort that child. He says, I can't do that. He said, well, then get out. We disown you. So now he's disowned by his parents. She then takes her ring, puts it on the dashboard, and she says, I can't marry you. It's not his child. It's his best friend's child, the guy who's teaching him Christianity. The white guy with a wife and 3 kids. That's whose kid it is. So obviously you can understand how distraught he is to the point of suicide. He's going to kill himself. And I get it. He's now lost his parents have disowned him. The fiance has betrayed him. He's been betrayed by his best friend. And by the way, it's a theme of what I'm talking about here. And this whole thing is this cult has caused, she did it too, but caused my ex-wife to betray on a huge level. I still deal with betrayal. I was betrayed by the guy that kidnapped me. I've been betrayed by a number of people that I've been good to, people that I've gotten jobs for, whatever it is. It's my lot in life to figure these things out and just keep my vibration high, keep on working on myself. I encourage everybody to do that. So he says he was going to kill himself. He's going to drive off this cliff to the left, a place that he had driven a number of times. He knows exactly how he's going to do it. He's going to drive off the cliff to the left, and he makes the right because a miracle occurred. He doesn't tell us what the miracle is. That night, I'm feeling really, really ethereal and upper level. And my friend Kenny Loggins, who I'd toured with when I was a kid, opening for him and sang with him on Broadway, blah, blah, blah. Kenny's on stage doing his last concert ever with Loggins and Messina, his whole team. And he's literally doing a song called Peace of Mind. Peace of Mind. I mean, it was so beautiful. Outdoors. And I'm sitting there just going, he shouted me out during the show. It was like really cool. I'm with my friend Joe. Just feeling the beauty of nature and the stars and this music and my friend. And I just heard this story from this guy, and I just spoken at this church and just really feeling it. And then I get a text in the middle of the song. I shouldn't pick up my phone in the middle of the song. Peace of mind. Everybody's saying peace of mind. It's beautiful. And the text says, the reason I drive off the cliff is someone had just handed me a CD from a comedian named Craig Shoemaker. I laughed till I cried. Life is worth living. You're my friend forever. You saved my life. And that was when I went back to fourth grade. That's when I really said to myself, that voice came again. I scripted this, Big G. I scripted this. This is your script. So is this podcast. I don't know what's going to unfold, what's in the plan anymore. I let go. I just brought this truth, which is what comedy is. People are offended by it because we tell the truth that you don't want to hear. We're pulling the curtain on the wizard back there. I pulled the curtain. She's a wizard. Broke and Lotus. They're wizards. They want you to believe one thing, and it's not true. They want you to believe and stay in these walled cities. The Wizard of Oz, stay in this city. I will control you. I will tell you what you can have. You'll have all of this. It's meaningless. It's not there. Like they say in Wizard of Oz, home is where the heart is. Lotus broke up our home, but we still have our heart. Me and the children still are majorly bonded with our hearts in love. I love them with everything I have. I love my other children as well. They don't love me back today. I don't know what the script is. I do know that this podcast was a free flow. It's very present in me. I feel very healed because I got it out. It's cathartic. It's inspired, even creative. It's not my greatest creation. Certainly wasn't making you laugh. But I think, if the truth sets us free, I feel free. So we'll see what happens if I do another one or a bunch of them. We'll see what the response is. We'll see what your response is. If there's a call for it, then I'll do it. I have another podcast where I definitely have